Illuminati is a thing you need to watch out for. They want to depopulate and slave us so much more. World domination, I'll get into that later. I'm hardcore, fierce and sexy. You're just a hater. You deserve the ridicule because you're an absolute zero. I'm the keeper of the chalice, a rock and roll hero. I'm not an idiot nobody listens to, because I'm not a failure in life like you. Let's talk about Bill Gates and the mark of the beast and the orgies in the streets at the Catholic feasts and Bill and Hillary's human trafficking ring. And George Soros got the money to pay for everything. Socialism is for losers, working for the devil. Chumps that can't fight, they ain't on my level. It takes an evil one to try to debunk a doubter, so I'd rather die than stop talking about it. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out for the Illuminati.
What's good, my people? You're watching the MC Too Tall Show with your hardcore, fierce, and sexy host that is never gross, MC Too Tall. Now, you saw the beginning of the video. Before we get dragged into a rabbit hole, before people start saying, what about Ed Gein, Ed Kemper, Albert Fish, John Wayne Gacy, Richard Ramirez, and so on and so forth, I just wanted to put up the numbers of victims by the most famous of serial killers. By the way, Charles Manson did not single-handedly kill anyone. These people acted on their own on behalf of Charles Manson, and a lot of people would agree that he did not order those killings. That was really masterminded by Tex Watson. But these deaths upend on Charles Manson, so be it. Speaking of deaths being pinned on somebody, more accurately, thousands of COVID deaths pinned on Andrew Cuomo. He may well be a serial killer, as my cat walks by. And so, with that said, if he wasn't a politician, he'd be classified as a serial killer. Killer for real. 17,245 COVID deaths because of Andrew Cuomo, because he insisted on cramming COVID patients into nursing homes. That includes 6,600 outpatients, people who are released from the nursing homes and then died at home or in some other facility, what have you. So if you reduce that number and take the 6,600 off, that brings it down to a meager 10,825. Still leagues ahead of all the other serial killers mentioned. Even with people like Ted Bundy, Henry Lee Lucas, and Otis Toole embellishing their numbers. Lucas and Toole, if what they said were actually true, they would have had 850 victims. Ted Bundy, if what he said were true, would have been 30 victims. Combine that with David Berkowitz is 6. Manson Family is 9. It would add up to about 895. Still hundreds less than the slimmer death toll under Andrew Cuomo's governorship in New York State. So there's your choice, New York. There is your choice. You have to choose between somebody who is proverbially a serial killer, somebody who takes selfies with known terrorists or the person who's dedicated his life to public safety since 1970 freaking 9. This should be a no-brainer, folks. This should be a no-brainer. But here we are, still confused about it, still ready to write off New York City to the man that takes selfies with terrorists, claiming our only hope to defeat the man who takes selfies with terrorists is an actual, or proverbial, I should say, serial killer. There are people who would still be alive today who are now dead because of Andrew Cuomo. Dare I say, nobody died because of Zohran Mamdani. I'm no fan of Zohran Mamdani, but credit where credit is due. Nobody's dead because of Zohran Mamdani. There are thousands dead because of Andrew Cuomo. Blood is on his hands. There is no blood on the hands of Curtis Sliwa. In fact, many lives were saved because of Curtis Sliwa. Between the people from broken homes who would have probably entered a life of crime and ended up in jail or dead, if not for them joining the guardian angels, to people that would have been killed in muggings, if not for the guardian angels, to the homeless people who would have withered and died in the streets, if not for the guardian angels. So, there are countless lives saved by Curtis Sliwa and the guardian angels. This was a man who took on every variety of crook, from the ruthless street gangs to the crooked politicians to high-profile mob figures sending hitmen to kill him. And he's still alive, still kicking, still ticking, and running for mayor of New York. Curtis Sliwa is New York. He is the heartbeat of New York and should be right there in City Hall, making the decisions that will save New York. But people look at the polls, they're like, he's not electable. Look at the polls, look at the polls. You're looking at what blue-haired weirdos with Hamas tablecloths wrapped around their necks have to say, and what the old fuddy-duddies, these old fuddy-duddy liberals that created these monsters have to say. These old fuddy-duddies who created these monsters, who are scared of these monsters they created, but still can't let go of their liberal ways and want to hide behind Andrew Cuomo. So these are the numbers you're looking at when you look at these polling numbers. And even then, they're now putting Sliwa ahead of Cuomo when they put them in a one-on-one with Mamdani. Interesting statistics indeed, but still, I believe those statistics to be downplayed because as I've said in past videos, the people that put up sheetrock, swing hammers, and turn wrenches have no time to stop and answer questions asked by some dweeb with a clipboard. Let's be real with this. Scott Lebedo great guy. He took a poll himself. He went out there and took a poll and asked people when was the last time they had a poll taken, where was it, and like about 90% of them said they weren't ever polled at all. The remaining 10% don't even remember where or why they were polled. So these are real New Yorkers that Scott Lebedo polled, and those were the answers that he got. So there you go. These are the people whose names and numbers are not on these polls because they simply have no time. Then you figure, well, wouldn't conservative retirees have the time to be polled? No, they're too busy enjoying the life they worked hard and created for themselves and are now using their time of retirement to visit their adult kids' house and play with their grandkids and be happy grandfatherly or grandmotherly types. Or go on a cruise and enjoy their twilight years. They got no time to stop and take polls in the middle of Manhattan with all kinds of chaos going on around them, risking their lives just to answer questions that some yuppie with a clipboard wants to ask them. So, where are we going with this? Sliwa is the one clear choice. As I said, this should be a no-brainer. This should be a no-brainer. Crime runs rampant because of the Democrats, and it will take a Republican to fix it. Just like in the early 90s, crime ran rampant because of the Democrats, and then it took a Republican mayor, followed up by a Republican governor, to fix it. Just like nationwide, over the past 4 years, crime ran rampant because of the Democrats, and it took a Republican president and a Republican administration to fix it. Border's sealed tight now. The border, nobody's talking about the border anymore because it's sealed tight, and a secure and safe border is a boring story to report about. And the news, they love reporting sensationalism. There's nothing to sensationalize about a secure border and nobody violently trying to cross that secure border. And so here we are. Fast forward, we're coming on another election day and another opportunity to fix your surroundings. We started with the president, but we can't stop there. As I said before, we have to elect the right people to the right offices from the top down, not just that president, mayor, governor, senators, congress people, and as Don Jr. would say, even dog catcher, if need be. We can't have these radicals holding any office. No mercy at the polls. No mercy at the election sites. Go in there vigorously. Cast your vote against the Democrats. Do not elect any Democrat. Don't trust any Democrat that quits and goes independent unless they actively join a Republican administration. Then it's a different story. But this is what we got going on, folks. This is what we got going on. Another office to secure for the righteous right. versus the evil left. Oh, too tall. It's not fair. They're human beings. They can't possibly be evil. Well, I'll tell you, I can bet you dollars to donuts the families of 17,425 New Yorkers would beg to differ. 17,425 people. Every last one of them would have still been alive today if not for Andrew Cuomo. God's honest truth. And he knows it. He dodged a bullet, slinked out of the governor's office, thankful that it was over a sex scandal and not these thousands of COVID deaths that he caused. And what's up, again, like I said, what's up with these people, these Democrats, that have to leave office or bail out of an election because of a sex scandal? Al Franken, John Edwards, Gary Hart, Anthony Weiner, Elliot Spitzer, Jim McGreevey, Andrew Cuomo. And I'm sure there's more out there. And when they're not getting in trouble because of their uncontrollable sexual appetites, they're getting in trouble with their violent rhetoric, or getting caught out there with their violent rhetoric, and unfortunately, oftentimes not facing consequence for it. Like that Jay Jones running for AG of Virginia. His opponent, the incumbent, is definitely more qualified. We don't want some rule breaker doing Indy 500 speeds, told to do community service and did no-show community service to make prison time disappear. Not to mention all the heavy fines that come with that. And state legislators get paid very well and could afford to pay the fine that he would have had to pay if he didn't agree to community service that he didn't even show up to. And while in office as delegate of Virginia, he texts a Republican delegate talking about how the Speaker of Delegates should get 2 bullets to the head, even if present with Pol Pot and Hitler. So, talk about a poo-poo show that AG race for Virginia turned out to be because of the Democrat candidate. Crime runs rampant again because of the Democrats. And with the evil hearts of people that say that political opponents should get 2 to the head, so many levels of hell. Where belong the left? That's why I call them the evil left. Right is another word for correct, and it is the root word for righteous. Therefore, the right is righteous, and the left, of course, is the evil left. And 17,425 deaths is enough of one big reason why I say so many levels of hell. Where belong the left, the evil left? So, there's your choices, folks. Either a man that takes selfies with known terrorists, somebody who, if not a politician, would have been classified a serial killer, responsible for thousands upon thousands of deaths, or a person who's dedicated his life to public safety for 4.5 decades now. New York City, the choice is yours, and it should be a no-brainer. I'm going with Curtis Sliwa, folks. And this concludes this episode of the MC Too Tall Show. Respect God. Watch out for the Illuminati. Like, follow, share, comment, subscribe. Stay strong, keep kicking that slang. It's your boy in the building, hip-hop legend, recording engineer, underground rock and roll hero, MC Too Tall. Be good.